Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video for the Roblox scripting tutorial series. Today's video will talk about the Marketplace service. This service allows you to ask the player to buy game passes and developer products, get an asset's information as well as other things related to Roblox Marketplace, such as subscriptions. This video will only cover how to work with game passes, developer products, general assets, and finally how to get a product's info. Okay, so I will add a script in server script service, and in order to actually get this service, you just need to type whatever you want the service to be called, in my case MPS, which will stand for Marketplace Service, then type equal to game column get service, and here type the service name, which will be Marketplace Service. So now, in order to work with game passes, if you want to prompt a player to buy a specific game pass, you will type, first of all, game.players.playerAdded connect function player, right? So to detect whenever the player joins. And now you would reference the service column prompt game pass purchase, and here you will need first to type the player and the game pass ID. So I will just create really quickly a game pass and show you how it works. Okay, so this is my game pass ID, and here I'll just replace this. So now whenever we join the game, let's just do it. So after 3 seconds we are prompted the game pass purchase. So now we wait 3 seconds and you can see how we are prompted to buy it. Now here you can see how it is just a test purchase, so if we bought it, we won't actually lose any Robux. So now if you see that this piece of code isn't working, it's because you need to go to game settings, security, and enable third-party sales. Also, if you are the owner of the game, it's likely that you already own the game pass when you created it, so you can you can delete it from your inventory if you want to. So now we are just prompting the player to buy this game pass. Imagine we now wanted to detect whenever it bought it. Well, let's just reference here the Marketplace service, and there is an event called prompt game pass purchase finished. Okay, so this event will fire whenever the prompt is closed, but we don't know whether the player has bought it or not. So let's just type connect function, and here we will have 3 parameters, okay? The player, the game pass ID, and whether or not it was purchased. So let's just try printing all of this, print the player, the game pass ID, and print whether it was purchased. So now we will just play this. You can see how we have here, if we don't buy it, it prints matters type, the game pass ID, and it prints false. But if we were to buy it, it will print true. Okay, so let's just buy it now. Okay, see, great. Now imagine we wanted to give the player a certain tool when he joined, only if he owns a certain game pass. We could just do MPS, if MPS column user owns game pass async, and here we need to type the user ID and the game pass ID. So player.user ID, and the game pass ID is going to be this number here. Okay, and this one will return false or true whether or not the player has the game pass. And now here let's just print the player has the game pass. Okay, now we join the game. Okay, while we are prompted this purchase, let's just cancel. Okay, and you can see how it prints this. And since we don't own the game pass, it never actually said that we had it. Okay, so now I'll just really quickly buy the game pass, but from Roblox. Alright, so I have just bought the game pass. Now if I play this, you can see how now whenever I join, it says the player has the game pass. Okay, and since I already own the item, I cannot buy it again. Okay, so this will be everything regarding game passes. Now let's try to do the same thing but with developer products. Okay, so I will just create our developer product very quickly. Okay, so I have just created the developer product, and I'll just erase this and this. So now imagine that instead of prompting a game pass purchase, we want to prompt a developer product, right? Well, same as before, reference the service, prompt product purchase, here the player along with the product ID. Okay, and now if we just play this, you can see how, okay, we can just buy it if we want to. Okay, and the way you actually detect whether or not the player has actually bought it is just reference it, prompt product purchase finished, connect function, and here the user ID, the product ID, and is purchased. Okay, the same thing as the Gamepasses, so I won't actually type more code here for now. Alright, so next up, imagine we wanted to prompt the player to buy a certain hat or a certain asset, but just in general, like not a developer product or a Game Pass. Okay, so I'll just get here some item to prompt. Okay, so I will be using the gold star crown, which costs 777 Robux. I'll just copy the ID, and now instead of using prompt product purchase, we will use prompt purchase in general. And now just type we need to type the player asset ID. Okay, so asset ID is going to be this and the player that. And now if we just play this, you can see how now it will prompt us to buy the golden star crown. Okay, now buying this in Roblox Studio won't actually give us the asset. Okay, and now if we wanted to detect whether or not the player actually bought it, we can just do MPS prompt purchase finished, connect function, and the same thing as before. So the player, the ID, and whether or not it was purchased. So you can see how this is really very repetitive, and if you just learn how to actually prompt a Game Pass, you already know how to prompt, for example, a developer product or any other asset. So now finally I will tell you how to actually get a product's info. So imagine we had this golden crown and we wanted to get the info of it. Well, let's just create a variable called info, and this will be equal to reference the service column get product info, and here we need to type first of all the asset ID as well as info type, and this info type is an enum. Okay, so the asset ID is going to be this, well, the golden crowns ID, and here enum dot info type dot, and here we need to specify whether it is an asset, a Game Pass, a bundle, a product, or a subscription. So in my case it is an asset. Okay, so now if I just print the info, let's see what we get. Okay, we get a table that has a lot of information, such as the asset ID, the asset type, whether it can be sold in this game, whether it is collectible. Okay, you can see how there is a lot of data, whether it is for sale, whether it is limited, the total quantity, when it was created, some information about the creator, such as their ID, whether it is a user, whether it is a player or a group, whether he's verified, his name, his user ID, the asset's description, among others. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of things here, and if we wanted to do the same thing but with a Game Pass, we could do it. So GetProductInfo, right? And now, well, imagine we wanted to get the information of a developer product. You can just reference, well, just type the product's ID, and here instead of typing asset, we will type product. And now if we just print this, you will see how it will also print a table with pretty much the same information, right? It's 1 Robux, name is tutorial product, among other information. So that's everything for today's video about the marketplace service. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe so more people find my channel. If you would like to learn what else you can do with this service, check Roblox documentation. Bye!